COVID restrictions are disrupting the legal system so badly that some people are spending longer in jail waiting for a trial than they would if found guilty. The president of the Bar Association says courts didn't fall this far behind even during 2 world wars. Lawyers say both accused and victims are suffering. Our reporter Charlotte Cook has the story.
Is justice delayed, justice denied? That's the feeling among some lawyers and defendants left waiting because of the latest lockdown. Nationally, nearly 20,000 court sittings have been adjourned or rescheduled because of the Level 3 and 4 restrictions. That includes over 150 jury trials. 4 of those involve defence lawyer Marie Taylor-Cyphers.
These people who had been preparing for their trials for a year, 18 months, are now in the position when they have no idea, and nor do I, of when their trial will be heard.
In the case of the 2 trials, neither are able to get new dates. One has to wait until December to find out when it will go ahead. She says while it's frustrating for her, for the defendants, it's devastating.
It's all they think about. It's the most important thing in their life a lot of the time, and some of these people are in custody. That means they're in jail, and they were either waiting for the outcome of their trial to be able to be released because they were found innocent, or in some cases, and 2 of mine are like this, they are in jail, and by the time, even if they're found guilty, if everything goes wrong, they would have been in jail for longer than they would have been even if they were sentenced.
Marie Taylor-Cyphers says COVID-19 has broken the legal system. Courts, judges and courtrooms are already booked up until late next year, still trying to clear delays from last year. Auckland Crown Solicitor Brian Dickey says that could mean some of these current suspended cases might not be heard until 2023. But it's not just a problem for defendants, it's also upsetting for complainants.
Some victims won't come back for a second trial after the adjournment of a date. They're quite emotionally invested in that date, and if it doesn't get on, though it's nobody's fault, it can be very difficult to get that victim to come back to another trial in 6-12 months' time, particularly in the area of sexual violence.
He says after the 2020 lockdown they lost several cases because complainants didn't want to go through the trauma again. Brian Dickey says there are dozens of cases in Auckland alone that were partway through or nearly completed but had to be abandoned when COVID returned to the community 3 weeks ago. These include one for murder and a multiple complainant sexual violence case. The president of the Bar Association, Paul Radich, says this amount of disruption to courts has never happened before, not even during the world wars.
Courts have always been able to operate to some degree, and so the judges and the heads of bench are having to go to quite extraordinary lengths to operate as much as they can remotely through the use of technology, while keeping public safety by adjourning all of the jury trials until we get back down to level 2.
He says there will soon be a triage system set up to rearrange the suspended trials.
Those cases that were scheduled for jury trials will be assessed to find out when they can go ahead. In some cases, it may not be until well into next year. In other cases, gaps may come in the schedule as cases are shuffled around in terms of order of priority.
The Chief Justice of New Zealand, Dame Helen Winkleman, has said jury trials are likely to recommence at Alert Level 2.